All right, y'all. Hey, so I caught wind that Rush Limbaugh had a conversation with Charlemagne, the so-called God. Um, we'll just call him Charlemagne. Um, the discussion was white privilege. Let me cut down to the nitty gritty. Russia's response to white privilege is that it's something bogus, it's something fake. Um, Conservatives, I've been trying to help y'all out with this, for years, and Rush Limbaugh being a prominent figure that he is, like a lot of conservatives, represents a lot of conservatives who keep dropping the ball on this. And hello, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I'm just going to try to make this quick. I'm going to try. Keep dropping the ball on this. To say that white privilege doesn't exist, man, conservatives, you're shooting yourselves in the foot. Acknowledging white privilege, conservatives, is not an admission of guilt for you. Okay, you've been put so on the defensive concerning race and concerning white privilege that you miss the opportunity to make a charge, to intercept the ball and charge up your field. You keep doing it over and over again. White privilege is a real thing. It's not a reflection on you, to my white conservatives. It's not a reflection on you to say that white privilege exists. Acknowledge it. It is a real thing. And white privilege was instituted by the Democrat Party. It's these people they're angry, and they're rightfully so. The problem is that their anger is misdirected. They've been poisoned with prejudice propaganda. They've been under the spell of slander. Democrats have gone in and redirected their anger, and they've been doing it for decades, y'all. The irony is that I learned about who the Democrat Party is from Rush Limbaugh. I remember listening to Rush Limbaugh and when he was discussing the Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights Act and tied it to the Democrat Party. And I heard that and I was like, okay, well, let me dig into this a little bit. This was years ago. A long time ago. I've been listening to Rush Limbaugh. I'm practically a lifer, right? In listening to Rush Limbaugh. I've been listening to him for a long time, on and off, and that's where I first I made the association. And then I started digging it and I was like, wow, it was an explosion of an epiphany. When I started digging and finding out who the Democrats are, all the institutionalized racism and bigotry that America is still so bitter about to this very day is all been the Democrat Party. And they're still doing it today. They've just found a more effective way to do it. And they're using people just like that they said years ago, decades ago, all the way back to the Negro Project. Just go way back. They will use black people to keep them in a state of discontent, in a state of control, in a state of where they will never. The objective is for them to never come to a state of prominence, a state of where they're just Americans, not accepted as accepting themselves as Americans. Lament over how they're not getting special treatment as Americans, while at the same time rejecting the very things that will help them have that. Like I said, you can be angry or you can be free, but you can't be both. And they have used their freedoms instead to just butthurt about the past while assuming themselves as progressives. So this white privilege thing, you want to know what white privilege looks like? Black folks, look at Joe Biden. That's white privilege. You want to know what white privilege looks like? Look at Hillary Clinton. That's white privilege. Your high priestess and priests of white privilege reside in the Democrat Party. And you got Rush Limbaugh, once again, trying to protect his white innocence. And the thing is, that's not really where Rush Limbaugh is. But when he's put on the defensive, his constitution breaks down, just like a lot of the conservatives. Because you feel like you're being attacked for being white. And these people have a legitimate reason to be angry about white privilege because it's a real thing instituted by the party that they keep giving power to. They keep giving power to the Institute of White Privilege. It's the Democrat Party. All the way down to reparations. Who denied black people reparations? Democrats did. Who approved it? Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was like, what you got? What you got here, Sherman? What is this? Special Field Order 15? Was it 40 acres and a mule? Do it. Abraham Lincoln gets assassinated by a Democrat, succeeded by a Democrat president who says, what is this, Special Field Order 15? Junk that. You ain't getting none of that. Democrats denied you 40 acres and a mule. Okay, so you want to talk about white privilege? Yeah, that's a real thing. Conservatives, I'm trying to help you acknowledge it. Stop trying to deny it. Stop trying to say that white privilege is some liberal. You're going about it the wrong way. If you want to say that it's some liberal social construct or whichever, go with it, because it is. Liberals did create white privilege. The liberty of taking the Constitution, when you have a liberal interpretation of the Constitution, you will take liberties with what it means. And you will insert things that are not there. Things like white privilege. And you will deny other races things that they're supposed to have a right to. And you will let the white people benefit from that. Your special class of white people. It's a real thing. It's a real thing today. And it's still being orchestrated by the Democrat Party, and they are using black people to do it. You got black people like Charlemagne. This was said even by Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger saying the same thing. We're going to use the colored ministers. Charlemagne, the so-called God, is a minister of left-wing ideology. You don't have to necessarily be a minister of a church. There's ministries and different things. And Margaret Sanger said that we will rely on the colored ministers, basically to help exterminate the Negro population. Funny how still to this day, we're 13% of the population. Why? Because black folks keep killing themselves off, listening to people like Charlemagne, listening to people like Al Sharpton, listening to people like Cornelius, listening to these left-wing real sellouts for the Democrat Party, the real sellouts, the ones who are out there unwittingly, who knows? Who cares? Doesn't matter if it's unwittingly or if it's on purpose. They're getting their cheddar. They're getting theirs. Suckering black folks to stay in a state of discontent. Yes, white privilege is a real thing, Mr. Limbaugh. But unfortunately, just like, won't even talk about it. I won't even go there. I'll just leave it to these people to pretend like what I'm saying doesn't exist, which really sucks. It's disappointing, but it is what it is, because these white privileged Democrats, you want to talk about white privilege. I noticed that Charlemagne the God, the so-called God, has a voice. Democrats ain't stifling his voice, but they're stifling this black man. But they like Charlemagne the God because he says what they want him to say. So, he helps to provide them the running room to do what it is that they're doing, to put in their policies. And but me, I don't get to enjoy such a privilege, that y'all are talking about. But white privilege is a real thing, y'all. Don't try to act like it doesn't. Don't be defensive about it. Conservatives, Republicans, acknowledge it. And then let them know who instituted it and who keeps doing it. All right? You're making this hard on yourself. You keep trying to get away from language that, you give to liberals, and they use it as weapons against you. You keep calling them radicals when they're not, right? You keep standing up for Confederate monuments when that ain't got nothing to do with, not only does it have anything to do with being a Republican, the Confederacy has nothing to do with the Confederacies were the enemies of Republicans. They had murderous hatred against Republicans. But not only that, you keep trying to call it American history. The Confederates were enemies of American history. They were enemies of America. It was a Confederacy that established their own constitution to go to war against the U.S. Constitution. But you want to adopt that as part of this wonderful history of America. The only thing that's wonderful about it is that they got beat. But you got Republicans, they stand up for this stuff, and then they wonder why they use terms like radicals, they use terms like they stand up for Confederate monuments and all that sort of stuff, and then they wonder why people think the parties have switched sides and they don't trust you. But oh well. Yeah, it gets tiring trying to defend, and I'm not even trying to defend conservatives. I'm over that. I'm just trying to defend the principles of conservatism. I'm trying to defend the principles of what it is to be a constitutional republic and a Republican, getting down to the back to the core of what that is. But in terms of defending conservatives, you know, um, I don't even know what the point is. It's only the Lord that keeps me going. Just trying to promote His truth. That's it. But other than that, conservatives. I'm thankful for those who still listen in. I'm thankful for you guys, but by and large, but you're a rare few, and I'm so grateful for you, and I'm so grateful for those who try to help keep me going, despite all this. But by and large, conservatives, yeah. Anyway, all right, y'all. Blessings. We'll talk again soon. Hope to see you guys tonight in the Zopium Den.